welcome back to my channel. So this video is a really informative brow tutorial. I wouldn't say tutorial, it's just a really informative brow video, kind of everything about basic brow care, to different brow products, to how I fill in my eyebrows. I wanted to create a video that was a really informative video about your eyebrows because your eyebrows are really important. They frame your entire face. Everybody sees them. You can have a face full of makeup on, and if your eyebrows look bad, people are gonna notice. And I know eyebrows are not the easiest thing to do at all, so that's why I wanted to create this video for you. So in this video, I talked about like basic brow care and kind of how to keep your natural brows as best as possible, because the better natural brows are, the better your brows filled in are gonna be. I also kind of discussed some brow products, and then I did a tutorial on how I fill in my eyebrows. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please make sure to like this video. I put a lot of time into this video kind of researching products, so please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I really hope you guys find this video helpful on how to get your perfect brows. So enough rambling, and let's just get on to the video. Oh yeah, also forgot to mention, I know I already have a brow tutorial up on my channel. I think gonna put that on private. I just didn't really like it, so I decided to redo it, which is this brow video, and it's a lot more informative. So yeah, if you're wondering, like, didn't she already do a brow video like 4 months ago? That's why. Alright, now let's hop into the video. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to discuss is brow care. Caring for your natural brows, because the better your natural brows are, the better your eyebrows are going to look filled in. And a lot of people forget this step. They just try to fill in their brows, but they don't take the time to actually take care of their brows. So these here, as you can see, are my natural eyebrows, and I try to take really good care of my eyebrows. One thing that I do every night is I put 100% pure organic castor oils on my eyebrows, and this is really good for hair growth. I also put it on my eyelashes, and honestly, I can really tell a difference with this. This was, I think, $12 off of Amazon, but you can kind of get it anywhere. I think at like Kroger, CVS. I just apply it to the tails of my eyebrows here because that's where they're the most sparse. And honestly, my eyebrows look a lot better there after applying that, and I've been using that for about 3 weeks, and my mom really likes it too, and she says that she thinks that she can tell a difference. Another thing that you can do, and this is just like pretty basic, is just make sure you get all of the makeup off of your eyebrows every night, because your eyebrows are just like your eyelashes. I know that when I, leave mascara on, my eyelashes tend to fall out. It's the same thing with your eyebrows. You definitely want to make sure to get all of that makeup off, and just so it keeps your brows nice and healthy. So what I do is I just take a makeup wipe and I just really make sure to really wipe my brows off and get all of that makeup from the day off, and then I apply my castor oil right on the end, just with my finger. I just dab it on, and that has made a huge difference. You just really want to make sure that you're keeping them nice and clean and really moisturized and healthy. Okay, so these two things might seem pretty basic, but they make a huge difference, and this is obviously tweezers and little scissors like this. Now you definitely want to use tweezers just to pluck any of the hairs that grow in here or in the middle of your eyebrow. Just doing this will really make them look a lot more groomed, because even when your eyebrows are done and you have a few hairs down here, they just don't look as clean. So just, before you do your eyebrows or at night, just pluck whatever is growing in, and it really makes a big difference. Now the scissors are really important too, because they'll keep your brow hairs nice and groomed. So sometimes when your brow hairs get long, your brows can look messy, or they're harder to keep kind of like down and in place. So what you want to do is just brush them up like with a spoolie, and you can brush them up, which mine don't really need trimmed right now. And then be really, really careful with this. Just take your little scissors and you can just kind of go along the edge and just trim that excess hair there. And then when you brush them back down, all your hairs will be, a lot shorter and nice and groomed. Now, some people might like that really long hair look. I do like my brow hairs a little bit longer, but not too long. When they're a little bit longer, it can really give you that feathery look, but you want to make sure that they're not just like out of control and bushy. So it is really important to get your eyebrows done, even if you don't think that you may need your eyebrows done because you don't think that they're like bushy or anything. You should get your eyebrows done. It definitely just it makes them really sharp and gives them a lot of shape. You can either get them waxed or threaded, and threaded is like where they use like little fishing line, and I don't even know honestly what they do. They just get in there and they get all the excess hair off, and what's really nice about this method is they don't rip anything off, so it's not pulling on your eyelid. So threading is good. Now you do use threading sometimes if you want to really preserve your eyelids and not, because when you get older, after a lot of years of waxing, it can make your eyelids droop a little bit. So now I do get mine waxed pretty frequently as well. I kind of get them waxed because I go to the Benefit Brow Bar, and they have them in like Macy's, Ulta's, and I think they have a few boutiques as well. But basically they brow map, so they actually map out where your brow should be, and they do a really, really good job there. That's the best place that I've ever gotten my eyebrows done. So I do go there, and then kind of like my in-between, like I kind of have my shape but they need touched up, I go and get them threaded. So that way I go like about 50% of the time I get them waxed rather than 100% of the time. And threading is, I think in most places it's cheaper than waxing. It's about when I get mine threaded, it's $14, and when I get mine waxed, it's $26. So there is quite a big price difference there, so it's really all personal preference. Getting your eyebrows waxed and threaded can be a little bit pricey though. So if you don't have the money or you don't want to spend the money is when you can use these little guys here, and I do use these sometimes as well. These are the Tinkle eyebrow razors. I think Ardell makes some too. I just ordered mine off of Amazon. I think it's $3, or it may even be like $2 something for a pack of 3, so it's really inexpensive. So you can take it and you can get in the middle of your eyebrow. You can shave all the excess hair under and above your eyebrow. You just want to be careful with these because you can shave your eyebrow off, so you definitely don't want to do that. But these are really, really, really handy, especially if you want to save money. I do reuse mine. They're really a one-time use. I reuse mine, and then I really make sure to wipe it down with an alcohol wipe just to keep it nice and sanitary, and I get about 4 uses out of each one. I also use these to shave my face. Yes, I shave my face if you didn't know that, and I will have a video coming soon about how I shave my face, so definitely watch out for that. Alright, so now that we talked a little bit about like keeping your natural brows as clean and as healthy as possible, let's talk about some of the products that you can use. So the first one that I'm going to mention is a brow powder. Brow powders are really for beginners, I would say, or if you want to get a really uniformed look, because with brow powders you can't really get that hair-like stroke. It's really good just to kind of fill in your brows, just to give them an all-over color, but you're not going to get like individual brow hair strokes, and it's not really going to look nice and sharp. Like I said, it's good for beginners, so if you're just starting out doing your eyebrows, try a brow powder, and it can be inexpensive because if you have an eyeshadow that matches your eyebrows, then just use that. It's pretty much the same thing. So you can just use an eyeshadow, and then I recommend using a little angled brush like this one here. Just dip, 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 and then you can just kind of run it through your eyebrows, and it's just going to give you an all-over color to your eyebrows. Brow powders can also be really good if your eyebrows are really dense and really thick and you really don't have, you know, those individual hairs. You can just use brow powder just to kind of, you know, touch up anywhere you need to, or along the bottom here, and you're good to go. That way your brows don't look really thick and dense like you added a lot of product in there, but it really gives it that all over, just that all over color, and really fills in any areas. I would recommend using, honestly, Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder Duo. It comes with a lighter shade and a darker shade, which is really handy as well. I think that's around $21, but if you are going to get a brow powder and not use eyeshadow, I would recommend that one. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is a brow definer. Now, a brow definer is almost like a brow pencil, except it's a little bigger and a little thicker. It's almost like, I would say like almost like a triangle shape. So it's a thick pencil pretty much in the shape of a triangle. It's pretty much the same formula. And brow definers are nice if you're in a hurry, because sometimes with a brow pencil, you know, it has that little pointed end, and it can be a little bit time consuming. So brow definers are good, and I really like brow definers. I just like brow pencils because you can get a even sharper look with those, but they're really good for an all over color, just like a brow powder, except they're going to give you a little bit more definition and a little bit of a sharper edge because it does have a pointed tip at the top. That way you can make hair-like strokes in the front. So you will get more of a precise brow with a brow definer than a brow powder, but not quite as precise as a brow pencil. Okay, sorry, I had to do a quick hair change. My hair was driving me crazy, so I just threw it up. But anyways, like I was saying about brow definers, they are really good. You know, anyone can kind of use them. Off the top of my head, the two brands I think that have the best definers are Anastasia Beverly Hills. They make some of the best brow products out there. They are a little bit pricey, but honestly, I do think that they're worth it. And Benefit has their Goof Proof brow pencil, and that one's really nice as well, and that's a definer. And I can't think of any drugstore brands that have good definers, maybe Nyx, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So if you know any good drugstore brands that have good brow definers, then go ahead and leave it listed below, just in case anyone's looking for a good drugstore brow definer. They can just look below and hopefully someone will list it. So the next brow product that I'm going to discuss are brow pomades. And this is not a brow pomade, this is actually a gel eyeliner, but I was just showing you a little example of basically pomades come in a little pot like this. Basically the exact same thing except it's a brow pomade in your shade. And I recommend brow pomades for someone who's really experienced with eyebrows because those things are hard to use. The problem with brow pomades is that it's very, very, very easy to go overboard. You can literally make your brows go from bare to looking like caterpillars in like 0.3 seconds. So the way that you use pomades is kind of like a brow powder or like a gel eyeliner. You take a little angled brush, dip it in, and then you fill in your eyebrows. I just think that these are very heavy. They're more for, I guess you can use them for a natural look, but they're definitely more for like going out, big bold brows. I just think that they're not the most flattering unless you know how to use them right. And in my opinion, it's just a lot of work for something that you can use something easier like a brow pencil or a brow powder or a brow definer. But I mean, if you love brow pomades, good for you. If you know how to use them, good for you. They're just really hard to use. Another brow product that you can use, and this one is definitely the most simple one that you can use, is a brow gel. Now, if you have a really nice brows or it's a really natural brow day and you feel like you don't need to fill in your brows, sometimes I do that too. I use a tinted brow gel. So mine is the NYX one in the shade Brunette. It's just a brunette brow gel and you just comb it through your eyebrows and it just gives your eyebrows a little bit more color. It doesn't fill them in obviously. It makes all your hairs lay in place and it just gives your eyebrows a little something extra. And you can also use clear brow gel if you don't need any added color just to keep your eyebrows looking nice and groomed even if you're not going to fill them in. So the last brow product that I'm going to talk to you about is actually what I use, and this is a brow pencil. If you can see, it's got like a really little teeny end here and it's really nice for creating little hair-like strokes. It is a little bit more on the time-consuming side, but honestly I think it's worth it because I think that you can do everything that you want with a brow pencil. Anyone honestly can use a brow pencil, whether you're experienced, whether you're a beginner. They're very easy to use. My favorite is the Benefit Precisely My Brow. This has become my new favorite. My favorite drugstore one is the Loreal Brow Stylist Definer, and I have mine in the shade Brunette, and I recently just switched over to the Benefit one, but I've used this since basically I've started my channel. But it's the same thing, it's just like a little pencil, and this one's really creamy along with this one, so that's why I really like these. And if you do mess up with these, they're so creamy that you can just take your finger and kind of wipe them away. Definitely make your brows bold or really natural with brow pencils. And like I said, these two are my favorite. Anastasia does have a brow pencil. I personally like the Benefit though one better because it's more creamy. The Anastasia one is more dry, but they have a huge shade range. You can find your perfect shade no matter what color your eyebrows are in Anastasia. In Benefit, there's only 6. So now that I talked to you about, you know, kind of basic brow care and brow products, I'm going to talk to you about my eyebrows now. So these are obviously my natural eyebrows. I don't have anything on them right now. I do get mine waxed and threaded. I get mine mostly waxed, sometimes threaded. So when I go in, I tell them what I want, like the brow shape that I want mine to be. And I tell them that I want my eyebrows to be as thick as they can possibly be for my eyebrows. And I like to keep this line here as straight as possible with minimal arch here because I definitely got my eyebrows waxed before and they'll make like this, like super arch, and they'll completely almost take out all the hair right here. So definitely when you go in to get your eyebrows done, tell them what you want. Otherwise, you know, it's very easy for it to go wrong and it's a long process waiting for your eyebrows to grow back out. I would not recommend going to a nail salon to get your eyebrows done. I mean, if you know, if you've gotten your eyebrows done there before and they do a really good job, that's great. But I would definitely go to a brow place so that way they're specialized in eyebrows, not on nails. So, I don't know, I just wouldn't recommend going to a nail place to get your eyebrows done, you know. Alright, so I'm going to zoom you guys in now and we're actually going to get into the process of how I fill in my eyebrows. So there are 3 things that I use when filling in my eyebrows. The first one, my brow pencil or your brow product, you just need your brow product. I use concealer and then I use my Benefit Highbrow. And this is just basically like a pencil. It's like a cream highlighter for under your eyebrow. This one is definitely optional, but it does make a really big difference in my opinion in your brows. Another little tip is it's helpful if you just have a little mirror. Like I just use my NARS Laguna bronzer mirror just a little mirror like this, so that way you can really see nice and up close to your eyebrow. The first thing that I do is I brush my brow hairs straight up and kind of forward so that they can go up as much as possible. Now if I look up, by doing that, I can see my natural line of my eyebrow, because with my brow hairs kind of down and messy, you may not be able to see that. So I brush them up and forward, and you can really see the natural line of your brow. What you want to do is follow your natural eyebrow the best that you can, because the more you follow your natural brow shape, the more natural it's going to look and the better that it's going to look. So what I do is I look up and I'm taking my little brow pencil, and I start in the front. You want to work in little small strokes, and with a really light hand, I just start to create a line underneath my eyebrow. You can start to see it here. Now if you want to make your eyebrows thicker, this would be the time you'll create the line a little bit lower than your natural eyebrow. So I just create this line here, and I just brush with my spoolie as I go, just so I can make sure that I'm still following it. If you want to make your eyebrows more on the natural side, just don't make the line as dark. This method that I'm showing you here, I use if I want my eyebrows to be really thick and bold, or if I want them to be really natural. Just use a lighter hand if you want them to be more natural, and just use a heavier hand if you want them to be more thick. And that's why I love this method that I'm going to show you, because honestly anyone can use it for any brow type. Alright, and then here's the time where I'm going to extend my tail slightly. You can extend it to however long you want. I don't extend mine very long, I just kind of extend it to there. And it's okay if your line's a little squiggly, because we are going to clean it up with concealer, which will make everything look nice and sharp. And now that I have that line done, I like to look in my bigger mirror here to fill in the rest of my eyebrows. So what I do is just with a really light hand, I start doing hair-like strokes in the front here, and I'm putting the most pressure at the base and flicking upwards, just to mimic hairs there. It's super easy. Don't use a heavy hand, just be really light with it. And I just take it back. I take it back to about here, just like that. Now I do the same thing throughout my whole brow, except back here I'm just going to do the same thing from that line. Just flick upwards, except I'm going to use a heavier hand. Obviously, like I said earlier, if you want your brows to be, a lot thicker, fill them in more. If you want to be more natural, just do the same thing. Just don't fill them in as much. If you don't have a lot of hair back here, do hair-like strokes. Once you get into coloring here, it's going to look really, really bad and just too heavy. So just do hair-like strokes all the way through it. Just mimic the hairs. It may be a little time consuming, but it's going to look the best. So next I brush my brow hairs down right here in the back. And that way I can see my natural brow shape from the top. And this is where you can create the arch of your brow. So if you want arched brows, you would create, the arch right in here. If you don't want arched brows, which I don't really do an arch on myself, then you can kind of make it more rounded here. So I just, with a really light hand, because I don't like my brows to be too harsh back here, I just kind of round it off here. I know it gets a little repetitive, but you literally just do the same things over and over. Gonna brush all my hairs up and back. And then you want to kind of sit back. Like I like to sit back, and from far away, I like to see, like, what do I need to fill in here? Like, I need to connect my tail here more. So then I'm just going to connect my tail. And with concealer, you can clean that tail up to make it nice and sharp. So now it's time to move on to concealer once you've got your eyebrows where you want them. And like I said, this video is for your perfect eyebrows. If you don't like your eyebrows filled in this much, then don't fill them in this much. If you like them filled in more, then fill them in more. It's really easy. This is why I love this method and why I really, really wanted to share it with you guys, because you can really create the eyebrow shape, the eyebrow texture, everything that you want by doing this. If you want more arched brows, then make this more arched. If you want thicker brows, make that line, a little bit lower, and do longer hair-like strokes. It's not always going to look perfect the first time. Like, even on this one here, like, this isn't that sharp. Some days it looks really good. Some days it's like, it just depends. But this concealer is really, really going to help. So, what I do is I just take a few dots, because I don't ever really touch up inside here. I kind of keep this area as natural as possible. So I just take a few dots like this, and then a few dots underneath, and then I just take a little bit under there. I blend it, blend it in, make it sharp, and I use a little flat concealer brush, and this one is perfect. Really get really close to that edge, but you don't want to get it in your eyebrow. Just as close as possible and bring it out. Alright, and you can take it slow, take it nice and slow. And try to make that as perfect as possible. Then I like to look up for the front here because I like to make this line nice and sharp. And I just kind of wiggle it too, like this. Like just really light. Just a little bit at a time. Take it slow. And then with the extra here, I just kind of blend it out. I did already set my eyelids with concealer and powder because if I wouldn't have set it, it would have creased big time. It's already starting to crease a little bit. So I did need to set it, but I did not set up here. But normally, I always prime my lids with concealer. You can just take that down to prime your lids too. And then for the top here, I just take it from the top back here. Just get as close as possible once again, as close as you feel comfortable with. And then I really carve out that shape, my arch shape right there. And then you can take your little beauty blender or a brush and just kind of pounce it around the edges just so that concealer blends in nicely with your foundation. Alright, and then you can just brush your brows straight up and back. I like a more feathery brow look, so what I do is I brush my brows up and then back here, kind of brush them up and back like that to give it more of a feathered look. And then I decide, did I accidentally take away too much? Do I need to take away more? Does it look good? Does anything need to be a little bit sharper? And then I just touch it up. Alright, so this next part is optional. This is the Benefit Highbrow. It's just like a highlighting pencil. I don't know of another brand that has this. This one I think is like around $21, $24. So if you definitely know another brand that has this, that's, if you think is better or less inexpensive, then leave it down below. Mine is a little chewed up because my dog ate it, but it's okay, it still works fine. So what I do with this is I run it along the bottom of my brow. I try not to get it too close to my eyebrow because we can always blend it up. And I run it along my entire brow, but I focus it mainly on the arch here. And I just take that same concealer brush and I just do the same thing pretty much with like I did with the concealer. I just run it along. And I just kind of blend it in just so, we have nice smooth transitions. So the last thing that I use on my brows is a brow gel, and this is really important in keeping your brows in place, all the hairs in place, and it's going to make your brows look a lot, nicer and more uniformed. So I use the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara, and I have mine in the shade Brunette. This is a tinted brow mascara, so it's going to add a little bit of color to my hair. I really like my NYX Brow Gel, and I think this was $6.99, so if you're looking for a good affordable one, I would definitely try NYX. So what I do is I brush my brows straight up, like this in the front, just basically like I've been doing. And because this is going to set your hairs in place, so you want to make sure to get your hairs exactly where you want them. And I brush them up and back. Just get that feathered look. You want to be careful not to touch your skin with this since it is a tinted brow gel, because it will get marks on your skin. And if you do have any crazies like I do here, sometimes with the tinted brow gel it can be hard to get it because you don't want to touch your face. A little trick I use is I just use my spoolie and I just kind of go and I set all the hairs in place where I want them when the brow gel is still wet. Alright, and these are the completed brows. Like I said, honestly, anybody can do it. It is so easy, such a simple method, but you can really just take it and create your own brow. I really hope you guys learned a lot in this video. I really wanted it to be really informative and informational and for everyone, not just me sitting here like, then I do this, and then I do this, and not really tell you why. And I also wanted to include like basic brow care, just kind of everything to get your perfect brows. Not the perfect brows, I'm sure you have envisioned in your head the perfect brows. I know I do. I always think of Zendaya's brows, but that's honestly, it's just not realistic for each and every one of us. So I hope this video helps you get your perfect brows. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys!